cheers first.
Hell yeah, dude. Get in there.
There we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, dog?
What's up, dog? How's it going?
I'm keeping it real.
You keeping it real? Keeping it 100?
100. Is that the first is that the first like emoji to enter speak? You know how like people say LOL out loud?
Yeah.
Like 100 was the people would say that like red 100 with the underlines.
Yeah, but I think people were saying 100 before.
Oh, you think they're saying that before?
Was around before the emoji. I think the number was a thing.
Damn. What other number emojis are there also?
They have like 1 through 9 and then 0.
And then 100?
And then
straight to 100? No, like 1,000.
Ugh. What are they doing?
They should have an emoji for like I don't know.
They should have an emoji for when you feel sad. Have they invented one of those yet?
Do you think they capture the full range of human emotion?
Yeah. Now that they've added a butter emoji, which they didn't have before. I remember when they added the butter emoji. I remember the iOS because it was like I was trying to send something about I was joking around with a friend and I said smooth like butter, and then I was trying to send a butter emoji. There was no butter emoji.
What the heck?
And then I sent the same message to the same friend and I checked and there was a butter emoji, and it's a wrap.
Oh,
so that was the butter emoji, and then since they've added the that one, you know that one? It's like the little puff of air coming out.
Wait, is that a new one?
Yeah, you haven't seen it?
No, I'm sure I certainly have like a little guy going, and there's like a gust, but I feel like
he's like that. He's like his eyebrows are knitted, and he's going like that, and there's a little gust coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know that one. I'm thinking because there's like the brand new ones,
and that's something I feel often that I didn't feel like was represented.
Oh, true.
In the emoji canon.
That's how I feel about the new ones. The salute. That's always how I'm feeling. I always feel like my half of my face is missing and I'm saluting.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about when you did a show at the at like West Point or something. What was it?
Oh, yeah.
And you brought William Banks, who like makes fun of the military or something.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I don't know William that well. I've seen him a couple times. He seems funny. I don't really know him.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Word.
Yeah, he's a super alt comic guy. I'm gonna have him on the podcast.
Teasing it.
We'll go more in depth then. But the gist is basically, it wasn't actually West Point itself, but it was like the town around it. There's a Freemason lodge.
Yeah.
So, some guy at the Freemason lodge hit me up. Shout out Damien.
How's it going, Damien?
What's up, dude?
What's going on, player?
And he's like, hey man, you want to come do 30 minutes and you can bring 2 openers. And so I brought Cameron, who's my roommate, very, very funny as well. He's been on you guys fucking know that already.
Come on, guys.
And then William Banks, who's also very funny and also had a car.
Oh,
so
that's
we could physically get there.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then and then like I thought about it more. Like once I asked William, I then thought about it more, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. So what is the like? I know that he wears he wears like fatigues on stage, but what's like the premise? Is there
so we were talking about it. He doesn't always do that. That's not like his he does other stuff.
Right.
Get that mic. Oh yeah.
Give me one second. I need to blow my nose quick.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna use an old mask.
I'll explain while you're doing the old mask. Okay. Oh, that's the recycling, but I'll get that later.
I'll put it later. So he's not always in fatigue.
No. So he and I talked before the show, and he's like, "Look, I don't want to cramp your style, because he knows his stuff is like altier, and like that it's like kind of it was a lot of Army people. It wasn't West Point itself. It was a lot of like veterans and such.
Yeah.
At a Mason lodge, and I was like, "Look, man, like." I don't think this is gonna be a wild situation to begin with.
Yeah,
you can do whatever. I give you full reign. No, there's no leash. Like I don't control him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
Not,
right. You're not representing William Banks.
Right. And so I'm like I'd love to see what he does. And he did a great job. So what he did was he does have a character he does sometimes, which is basically like what's the deal with civilians? He dresses up in full military like camo. and he's like, "Are you guys mad at me for stealing valor and stuff like that?"
Yeah,
it's very funny.
Were they upset, or did they think it was funny?
It was kind of a mix because not everybody there. It was like a military crowd, but there were people who were like not in the military, like their family members and like their kids and stuff.
Right.
And so somebody was like mad, and then their son was like, "Chill," like.
Right.
But it, he did like a push-up competition with one of them. And
I saw that.
Yeah.
With a veteran.
With a veteran, yeah, for sure.
It's fucking insane.
I think that guy's a veteran, or in the military.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have him on. We'll talk more in depth about it.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure.
Word up.
What you been up to, dude?
Just I had COVID last 2 weeks.
Damn.
And that was brutal. Or actually, how brutal was it? I kind of discovered that I'm sort of okay not seeing anybody and being in my room for 2 weeks. Like, yeah. I'm kind of okay with it.
You a gamer?
No.
No.
I just sat in my room and just ate saltines and looked out the window, and I'm okay with that. Like like there's a big part like I really present as like a people person and like outgoing, and I like going to parties and stuff, but I'm a curmudgeon straight up, like in my corazón. I kind of hate everybody, and I don't like talking to people. I'm sort of a dick.
I hate to use this phrase, but like an extrovert presenting introvert. Do you think you're?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my deal is. I think I just realized like. I just don't I have a core group of people who I like spending time with, and everybody who's outside of that is sort of like intruding, which is like, whatever. I'm not likable.
Hell
Straight
yeah!
I don't know. Yeah,
hold on. So you're projecting it back that you think they don't. So people are intruding, but you're like, it's because you're not likable? Because that's not true. You're very likable. He's got a great scamp energy.
I am a little scamp, straight up, for sure.
And he uses a lot of lingo that I'm like, what is he saying?
Straight up is new. Straight up is when I'm folding into the lexicon. It's a rap is probably my biggest.
The first. I'll introduce Sasha. Actually,
rap.
Sasha is one of the first people I met when I moved to New York. One of the first friends here that I even like hung out with outside of a comedy space.
Yeah.
And so, that's part of. I'm having him on the cast, and then also, what was I gonna say? The first bit I saw you do was the "I'm a little scamp" bit.
That was the first one you saw me do. Wobbly ladder.
Either that is that part of the heaven bit, or is that a separate bit where you're like, damn, I was like, where are you from? And then the crowd goes, I'm from.
Then my charmer bit.
Charmer bit. Okay,
yeah.
And then you explained the scamp bit to me after, though.
Yeah. I have a bit where I haven't done it in a long time because everybody in New York has seen it, but where I go up and I say I'm a charmer, you guys. I'm a charmer. Observe. Excuse me, sir. What's your name?
Benny.
Benny, and you, miss? Say Jessica.
Jessica.
Oh, really? Benny and Jessica? It's funny. I would have thought stunning and gorgeous. I'm a charmer, you guys. And then I just do a bunch of like I ask them like, where are you from? And then wherever they say, I say, oh, really? I would have thought paradise. I just basically I hit on them for 2 minutes, and that used to be how I opened. And then that's a very similar like concept to the scamp bit. I have another bit where I say like a little bit about me. I'm a little scamp. Like a rascal, and,
yes.
And then I'm just really verbose, and I do a bunch of stuff about hanging out at the soda fountain and playing with slingshots and stuff, like kind of Dennis the Menace type stuff.
Because it's interesting because it's like, some people will do a character on stage, and like kind of what you're doing is like you're like, I'm this character, like you're like actively. It's like if somebody went on stage and was like, I'm trying to think of like an example of somebody who does a character. Like if Joe Pera went up and like the first thing he said was like, "What I'm doing is like I'm this guy who's from the not Midwest, but like upstate New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Described his character up top, but I like it though.
There's
true.
There's something with the with the charmer thing. What's funny to me about it is like it's not so much that I'm like the character isn't charmer. The character is a guy who's so arrogant that he self-identifies as charming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That like I'm so just confident in that everybody's fucking smitten by me. That I'll go up I'm like, I'm a charmer, you guys, and you know it. like that's really funny to me. To just like insist that everybody loves me.
For sure.
Is, you know.
I'd say the scamp element too, it's like you have those fake examples of like the soda fountain stuff, but I think you still are presenting as a scamp.
Well,
you know I mean?
well, that's
like you still are a scamp.
Yeah, I guess the way that I would start it, I said, I'm a little scamp, you know, like a rascal, you know, like, and then usually there would be somebody in the front who'd kind of like snort or makes any kind of disbelieving noise, and I'd be like, oh, you don't believe me? I'll fucking steal a pie off a windowsill. I don't give a fuck. And then but the things that were true was I would say. So you don't see the I haven't done it in so long. You don't see my thin bangs framing my elfish but inviting face. You don't see my devilish grin that suggests that there is a game afoot. And those, like, I think I do have like mischievous like Monkey King energy, like in real life.
Monkey King.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like an ancient Chinese.
You do have
mythology.
No, for sure. Yeah. Wukong. I do have I do agree with that. Like I think you have an interesting face, for sure.
Oh, word?
You're like a memorable face. Yeah.
Oh, I've never felt that about myself. So that's
really
yeah. I've thought that about you though, with your Dan Licata looking ass.
Yeah, you actually were telling me I look like his Pokemon pre-evolution.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I definitely have like
you haven't been told that you have a unique face? I've been told my whole life that I look like a cartoon character.
Really?
Yeah, people rudely sometimes, but yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, nobody's ever told me I have a cartoon face. People tell me like what I look like a lot. People, you know, like people are very comfortable telling me like what celebrities I look like and stuff like that. I get ever since I had a one TikTok blow up.
Here comes the flex.
Yeah. Oh my god, bro. Whatever. We're not talking numbers, but I had a TikTok blow up, and then like there's all these
to a celebrity.
There's all these there's a ton of people in the comments saying that I look like Jared Padalecki.
I don't know who that is.
He's in the show Supernatural.
Damn. Okay.
He had like, I shouldn't bite the hand that feeds, but he had like one thing that was famous, and it was this character in Supernatural, and I look like the character. It's accurate, but yeah.
You ever have somebody say, "Look, what's a roast?"
People tell me I look young a lot.
Well, what's the funniest like roast you've gotten?
Oh,
if you don't, that doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the hurtful stuff.
Yeah.
You come up with the nice one. I'll come up with the rude
in
one
in the second half.
Damn, dude, you look like you gentrified the wood elves of.
Right. No, people tell me that I have a baby face a lot, and I don't like that. And I know that it's true.
I get that a lot without the mustache.
Yeah.
You
and
should grow a mustache.
That's really I can't.
You can't?
I can't grow fucking facial hair. I had like a shitty thin, like it didn't connect like in the middle, and it didn't connect to the it was bad, and I can't grow anything here. So
first of all, I'll disagree. I don't think you have a baby face, but okay. I think you have a joyous. Youthful. A joie de vivre.
Glow.
A youthful glow, but not a baby face.
You know.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's what's up.
And I'm on your fucking podcast, bro.
Wow.
Crushing it.
Am I crushing it?
No. Yeah.
Oh no, I've stooped so low. I have to have 23. I just have 23-year-olds on my podcast and to stay relevant.
Yeah,
my first open mic friend who hung out with me.
Yeah, the first person who was willing to spend. Well, yeah. What I remember from
you weren't the first person I asked to hang out.
Yeah,
you were the first.
Who was the first person?
Months. No, you were.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no, you asked me to hang out.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
what I remember from that open mic was you did the joke about the wasp gazebo, and it blew my fucking mind.
Thanks,
and
it's gotten a lot better. It used to be worse.
Well, do you want to say? I don't know if you want to tell it for context. No, whatever. Whatever. You told.
Look it up. Go watch my videos online.
You told that joke, and it was at Wobbly Ladder, and it was like sort of a mellow mic, like whatever. But I was sitting like right next to the stage, and you told that joke. Thanks, Doug. And you told that joke, and I like couldn't stop laughing in a way that was like embarrassing, like it was like attention seeking, like it seemed like attention seeking because I was just so like I couldn't stop like hiccuping, and I was like trying. It was like when you start get the giggles in church, you know, like I couldn't stop, and people were like looking at me and shit, but I was just blown away by that fucking bit. Because it's so like every fucking park.
Listen,
has a wasp gazebo.
No complimenting me.
Okay, all right.
But also I appreciate that though. The thing I don't want people to think I'm having guests on the podcast just to give comments.
Guess
but I'm
you
gonna,
will.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna riff though. I'll give compliment back and then I'll riff somewhere. What I was gonna riff about is laughing in church because me and my dad always used to talk shit at the back of synagogue. So we'll go into that in a second.
Yeah.
But fucking shit.
I'm glad you locked that in.
Locked
as the
in,
next
locked
subject.
in the bookmark.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at that mic because I remember you had such a you like it was kind of just like dead energy a little bit or mid energy, and then you came in and you were like laughing real hard. You're being a real generous laugher for people and like brought a lot of good energy. But anyway, and I loved that, and that's when you did that bit, which I liked a lot. Now. Back at synagogue, we would get in trouble for talking.
Let's. I was like to me that's such like a like.
Listen, I know the jokes.
I think Mike. No, I think Mike's a lot of the time are kind of like unnecessarily miserable, you know. Like Mike's a lot of the time. I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm talking more.
Yeah,
about
no.
You gave me. Like Mike's a lot of the time are like weirdly like everybody's being funny, and like we haven't the mic's not that long, so we it's not like we're bored. It's like but everybody just feels bad, and people aren't laughing, and there's kind of like something that I've come to in not just in comedy, but in a lot of different aspects of my life is this realizing that you can just start something that like there's a mic that I go to a lot that was always really, really fun, and people would sort of like stand around after, but then there was never like a hang. People would kind of disperse and go home, and so it was always just like this weird thing where it would be like late Sunday night. We all had like a lot of fun. We're all still have energy because the mic's not that late. And then it would just disperse, and it was kind of like why aren't like and 1 week I just kind of realized like there's like 9 people here who I all like really want to get drinks with, and I was just like, hey, do you want to get drinks? And then and now pretty much every week after the mic there's like a fun hang, and you can just manifest a thing that
Yeah, definitely. I think you're doing that. If that's what you're saying.
So like at mics, if like I often. Or like at my friend Alex Murdoch, very funny. Go check her out.
Shout out.
She runs a mic called Friend Island at Fiction on Tuesdays, and
fiction's a genre.
Fiction's a genre. She runs a mic at the concept of fiction, but like I'll just like sit like right up front at like next or like kind of like off the stage at the bar, and I'll get drunk. And sort of like you're not supposed to heckle, but it's like you got to do it in the right proportions.
Right,
you know what I mean?
You're laughing and
you
enjoying.
You can positively heckle, kind of. Like if if you do a joke that really makes me laugh, I'll go like, hell yeah, player, get in there. I fucking like do that shit, and it doesn't take away from the joke, and it makes people laugh.
No, I've heard you do that. To
me. And it just makes everybody feel like a little less like sit down and listen. You know what I mean? Like we're a little bit more all hanging out because especially in New York, you don't have audience. It's all comics at mics. You know what I mean? And so and we all know each other. It's just this weird thing where like some mics, just like it's like we all know each other. We're all friends. We all think you were funny, but nobody's laughing at each other's shit. It's like what the. You realize we're all just chilling right now, you know, and so like I don't know. I kind of try to bring that energy to mics, that kind of feeling of just like we're just hanging out, and I'm laughing and I'm calling shit out, and I like my big thing these days is if I can find a way to put a Y at the end, like your name's great, Benny. I love, or if somebody's named Joseph or whatever, I'll go Joey as they're getting up on stage and as they're getting off stage, sure. And it just kind of ushers them up a little bit. I don't want to overstate. No,
if I'm tight enough with somebody, yeah. I mean, okay, two directions I'll go. Yeah. I'll either boo really loudly, which I think is so funny. Like if Cameron's going up, I'll go boo. Yeah. Which because because the crowd knows I'm not actually booing Cameron. Yeah. Like people assume I'm their friend, which is you're adding an energy, or I'll do the like
yeah, barking,
and I think that's
barking
so funny.
Is huge.
Yeah,
barking is huge. Doing
don't touch my fucked up.
Yeah, I know. I just touched your foot. Is that gonna am I fucked now?
Yeah. And I've got infected toenails. They're all fucked up from when I was a child. They're all fucked.
Am I actually fucked now, or is that
no?
Is that fine? That was fine. Okay.
I got them from sharing like socks or something, or shoes of my dad when I was like a kid.
Oh, really? So, your dad has it?
Yeah, that's how I got it.
All right. No gossip on the podcast. I don't want to put your dad feet
dad
on blast.
Dad on blast, but I have like super, super tiny toenails. Yeah. Because they like got stunted growing from an infection when I was a child. Then they're still infected and whatever. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Get in there.
It's a constant battle. I put like ointment and shit on them all the time. Whatever, man. Fuck.
You can cut that out.
No.
You're bearing
nothing
your
but
soul.
Truth, nothing but honesty on this podcast.
Facts.
That's why women, that's why I always wear my socks in bed. It's true. Gotta protect.
Gotta let them know.
People.
Yeah, booing, barking. I really love. Oh my god.
Put my foot in frame. Sorry.
I love doing. Like if it's somebody who I know a little more, who I'm okay with, like throwing them off the game a little bit, like you know Akshay Sampath. Like,
not well. I think I met him once.
He and I are friends, but every time he gets on stage, I go, "Holy shit, there he is!" Oh my, they got Akshay Sampath in this bitch. What the fuck? Like like it's just fun to like hype people up, and
I like to go, "That's my son." Yeah. I think honestly, I didn't do this as much previously, but I've seen you do it some, and so I've started doing some stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's
not as big as you do it bigger than I do.
I do it big.
I do it for some of the crowd because
Benny. Yeah, there he is. Okay, there he is. I do it like a little league coach.
Maybe I do it. I gotta think about it. I'm like, that's my boy.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Yeah,
it's just like it's just I think you put it well with like.
Very masculine.
Like it is,
yeah.
But
like the
yeah, the barking is but like booing your friend as they get on stage, it's like it just introduces this level of comfort of like so there are like connections in this room, I've talked about this a lot. I might have told you about this, but like one of my
listen to his audiobook.
one of my there he is, the Sasha Von D story, but get in there. One of my formative experiences with stand up early on was you know Caleb Clark.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he was like one of my very first friends in stand up.
Shout out Caleb.
Shout out Caleb.
Do I know Caleb Clark?
Do I know Caleb?
They've like run a bunch of stuff together. Of course, I know Caleb.
Oh yeah. Velvet Brick, check it out. But he was like my first friend in stand up, and when I very first started, I had this feeling going on stage always that my relationship, I had like an antagonistic relationship with the audience. Like I assumed that they didn't like me, and I had to like make them like me. Like that was the dynamic that I was assuming, and And so it was horrible. I mean, it was just you would just go up on stage with this like scared, like, please like me energy, you know, which is just fucking so counter to them liking you, you know.
Right.
And then it was like a couple months in, Caleb and I had become friends, and we were at a mic together, and he was standing next to me. We were standing off to the side. And the person who was hosting the mic, she was oh, you know, this next comic, blah, 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 start clapping for Sasha Von D. And I felt this, like, this spike of fear come up. And right as it reached its peak, Caleb just reached around my shoulder and squeezed my shoulder. Just like a quick, just like, you know, get in there kind of squeeze.
Demonstrate real quick.
Yeah. He went like that, just real quick.
Just wanted to feel that.
Yeah. You want to feel something. And it like this fear that rose up was met with this affection and love, and just totally nullified the fear. And
that's beautiful.
And it was this realization that, oh, like, okay, I know for a fact that there's one person in the audience who really likes me, who has affection for me, enough to touch me, you know? And so if there's this tiny mic, it was like during COVID, so it was like outdoors in a fucking park. There's only like 9 people here. So if 1/9 of the people here, I know for sure like me, there's probably maybe 1 or 2 other people who like me, and the rest probably don't hate
Fuck
me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know, maybe there's one person here who doesn't like me, but like most people either like you or they're neutral.
Completely neutral, yeah.
And so I went up, and it was like it was one of the first times. It was like maybe the second or third time I ever felt just like comfortable and like having fun on stage, and felt like I was funny, and felt very like secure. And I've always carried that with me. That feeling of like just assume that most people are like Caleb. Assume that most people like me, and project that. And you know, I mean, if you go with this, I was talking to Caleb about this last night. Like to me, I feel like comedy is so, especially stand up, is so much about trust. It's so much about like them trusting you and you trusting them, and like, and establishing that relationship as quickly as possible. You know, and so. Sorry, you're smiling. I feel like
No, I'm smiling because it's funny to me because partly because like it is so interesting and deep and beautiful.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I'm like, it's funny because I don't know what I'm doing with the podcast. Where I'm like, is it a riff podcast or is it a deep and beautiful conversation podcast? But I'm also like, it could be either. It could be whatever the people want. But it's so funny because I'm like, emojis are weird, and now we're down this rabbit hole of like, friends are so important in a crowd, and I'm like, damn, you're right, and I don't want to, and I want you to keep going, and I love it, and, but I just like
you don't.
No, I do, I just also I do, and then we'll also riff though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's just funny because I was like, whoa, this took like a deep turn quickly.
Yeah, I'm not a lot of fun. but yeah, I feel like the whole thing is grounded in
I'll add to it as well.
In quelling fear and trusting each other, and
that's a huge deal. If you tell a joke that isn't actually good, I mean, because I'm a one-liner guy, and I'm like, I know it's trust from a like if I do 3 jokes in a row that don't land, I know they're not trusting me for this next joke.
Yeah.
If I do 3 jokes in a row that do land,
you
know, I've got that momentum. And so it's like, let's say I have a joke, like if I do 3 jokes in a row that don't land, and then the same joke, and 3 jokes in a row that do land, and then like the same joke, I know that is heavily influencing how that joke is gonna do.
Yeah.
Like it's super, super obvious to me.
Yeah, and even with like.
Because it has to be, you know.
There's so much sort of like, I don't know, like it's just like podcast like rhetoric around like offensive jokes and stuff like that. And I really feel like something that really bothers me is when you'll be like at a mic and somebody will do a joke that is like, touches on some like subject, like race or like gender stuff or whatever.
Oh, trust in that sense also, of course.
And
for sure.
and people don't laugh, and then they'll be like, oh, like I forgot I was in Brooklyn, or like whatever. Or, like, or like, oh, you guys fucking offended. It's like, no, dude, like first of all, I've got a couple things with that. One, first, like your like shitty, like reductive trans joke isn't shocking us. You know what I mean?
It's good to know. I've been doing a lot of those.
like I've been at Mike's sitting like with a trans friend, and somebody does like some kind of shitty trans joke, and they're like, oh, like, yeah, I forgot I was in like thinking that we're all like clutching our pearls, and I'm like literally sitting next to a friend who like had gender affirming surgery, and like they lopped her fucking cock off. Like, your joke isn't more like intense than her life. You know what I mean? Like you didn't just like, she's not like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. like you didn't just blow her mind. Like, you bored the shit out of us.
Yeah, it's more honestly, it's usually like not even that. It's like boring from a like it's just like some base level linguistic joke about pronouns where you're like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, that's like day one shit that like a trans person makes with themselves. You know what I mean? It's like when people make a lot of the exact same Tourette's jokes with me. Yeah. And like it bores me, but I'm polite.
Right.
Or I'll try to riff on it in new ways, but like, but there's a lot of jokes that I've heard 1,000 times. Yeah. That I'm just like, if somebody would actually, did I ever tell you I saw that guy do his act about Tourette's or whatever?
No.
I did a show one time, and then a few comics later, his whole act was making fun of people with Tourette's.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And we talked afterwards. I was like, hey man, he was an Indian guy. I was like, how would you like it if my whole act was making fun of Indian people? Like, what do you like? Yeah. I don't know.
That's bizarre.
So I think that got to him. But
yes. So like there's that element of like a lot of like offensive jokes or like dark jokes or like it's just like wordplay, and it's not that interesting, and you bored the shit out of us. Right. But then there's another level of like
shit.
Of like we didn't laugh because like we don't trust or like you, really. You know what I mean?
Right. If somebody
like Gilbert Gottfried, all of his jokes are horrific, but it's Gilbert, so you trust him, and you
right. It's like Anthony Jeselnik
persona.
There's Anthony Jeselnik as well. It's like there's a level of like he doesn't mean it. He like they're detached from that persona. They're detached from that reality. Yeah. It's like, whereas those other guys, it's like they're specifically trying to provoke, or they're trying like that is their actual worldview is anti.
Dude, I have such an issue with the like.
These white guys are ruining comedy. They are. It's funny because you can tell when a white guy is going to be chill. Yeah. Like, it's funny. Like, it's so because like
you can tell it right away.
You can tell right away. Like, if you go to an alt mic, and if I see a white guy at an alt mic, I can read from his whole vibe whether or not he's going to be the worst on stage or a new friend. Yeah. And it's like,
it's instant.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that guy's wearing a leather jacket. Cool, dude. It's sick.
I've got a huge issue with the naughty baby thing of like, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm gonna anyway. Like the liberal mob doesn't want me to say this, but I don't want to name shit, but
redacted because we named some shit. Let me know how you feel about this, but I just feel like I have my stand-up style. Yeah, I do one-liners. I'd like to tell stories. I'd like to do longer bits sometimes. Yeah. Or I'd like to do more sketch or whatever. But at the end of the day, I know how to do my little thing, and I just keep doing that.
Well, I don't know, because I kind of only can do like I have like the scamp thing, and I have the like you met me at a time when I was trying out a lot of like sort of doing character-y stuff, but what I've settled into more, I do a lot of like kind of like stories and observational, and like I do like extended, I take like a nugget observation and I just stretch it out for as long as I can. I like just God, I'm so self-conscious of being self-congratulatory and stuff. But
no, yeah. Don't worry, I don't think what you're doing is that good. So
like I can't I can't do one. I don't know how to do one-liners, and so I'm always like astonished by like you and Dan Wicks and Alex Taubin, who are like exclusively doing one-liners that are like that feel fresh. And like
I'm astonished by characters and stories. You know what I mean?
It's a style of
get it. Like I don't.
It's a style of writing that like how do you? I mean, how do you do it?
I sit in a corner and they just a laser beams them to my skull directly, and I just go joke. Like if I sit for 20 minutes, I go ding. Yeah. Joke time.
It's bestowed upon you by Christ.
It's bestowed upon me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I understand. That was the thing when I was a kid. One of the first comics I ever saw was I saw clips of Mitch Hedberg at Just for Laughs, and he's so
who's that?
Like Mitch Hedberg. Oh, you fucking all right. Okay, we're doing that on the podcast. I saw him and like obviously he's incredibly funny. But it didn't occur to me. If you read from a joke book, or you hear like guy walks into a bar jokes. That's kind of like what jokes are for the first throughout your childhood. And those I have no idea how to start writing a like guy walks into a bar joke. Like there's
no, neither do I.
Yeah, it's like how the fuck did any of those ever get written? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what when you're a kid, that's what you think jokes are. And then I saw Mitch Hedberg, and he's doing these brilliant one-liner things that are like perfectly crafted, and it's still the same level of like untouchable to me. Of like I have no idea how he even started writing that joke, and so it wasn't until I saw Hannibal Buress's special Animal Furnace, where it was a guy who's kind of talking like me and my friends. He's obviously way older than me, but like closer to my generation, and he's doing more stories and observational and stuff, and kind of being funny the way that me and my friends are funny. It was the first time I was like, oh, that's okay. Like that's a thing that I could participate in, that I could do on stage.
For sure.
And so I'm still like your act to me is just a black box. I have no idea how you start, like how you get into running a wasp gazebo joke.
And I know all the behind the scenes.
He knows it all.
First, you have to go to a gazebo when you're 7. You have to get stung by some bees.
That happened to me.
Yeah,
when
right.
I was 7 years old, I got stung by a wasp.
And then
from the gazebo.
And then you lock that away, right? And then you got to go to a butterfly pavilion,
right?
And then you have to lock that away. You have to enjoy that enough that you want to talk about it on stage. Anyway,
right?
I'm not gonna.
Anyway,
I'm telling you, like the decades-long process of writing that joke.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty. I know the folks at home want me to, but what am I gonna give away my secrets?
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Come on. Fuck you guys. That would be good to establish an antagonistic relationship with your podcast viewers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Eat my ass.
Fuck
that's the name
guys.
of the podcast.
Hell yeah.
There's no podcast. Doesn't have a name. Doesn't have a theme
where
or
does
intro.
Where does this go out?
Mixtape I handed on the streets.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, you want this?
My brother once got scammed by one of those mixtape guys. He somebody was forced him to buy their CD, and he played it, and it was just like
was it any good?
It was just like no, it was just like GarageBand beats. No, it was like basically just like a blank CD.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could just put some music on the CD.
Yeah,
you could
true.
just imagine hustling that hard and you didn't even make music. Dude, you could. Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. New York, baby. Get in there. My dad always tells a story about a guy. My dad makes music, and I think the clarinetist in his band, or trumpeter, I can't remember. Clarinetist in his band bought a camera, like a nice photo camera off a guy on the street, and when he got home, he opened it, and the box it just had a brick inside. He spent like $250 on a fucking brick.
On the street?
On the street, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So keep your peepers peeled.
Did the brick
bro.
work?
The brick worked great.
Hey, want to hear a joke?
Yeah, I want to hear a joke.
People keep telling me I'm dumb as a brick, which is, hey, at least a brick is right twice a day.
Did you write that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Thanks.
Is that an old one? Is that a new one?
Year and a half, something like that.
Hell yeah.
Because during COVID, just a lot of time to reflect. You know what I mean? I recently did a timeline of my entire life that I wrote down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And just made a graph of the whole thing, and I'm able to separate it into chunks and be like, okay, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
And then it's this era, this era, this era.
That's so funny.
It's like
a whole section of your life is just I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Well, that's 0 to 3.
0 to 3. Yeah,
no
it's
idea
just
what that was.
Nothing.
But that's
I like you saying it like it's unique to you. Yeah, those years. I don't know.
Or heavy drinking.
Heavy drinking.
I was on the milk every night.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, what
was 3 to what 10? 3.
Yeah,
how did you chunk it off?
It pretty much perfectly correlated with school. You know, elementary, middle, high school, college, and then the only other eras since then have been my time in a specific part of Philadelphia called Manayunk, which was very important to me.
Yeah.
But then COVID, and then now is the New York era, and that's the most recent element of it.
Yeah.
But the
you're in your Sasha Von D era right now.
That's right, dude.
Yeah.
But and I think this is true for a lot of people. But COVID was, for a lot more people, it was a time of, suffering, and loss. I'd say, but also a time of reflection and you having to pause and
right.
It
was tremendously dark for me. 2020 was 2020 into 2021 was probably the worst time of my life.
What happened?
I was just suicidal as shit, and
were you actually
and miserable?
Oh,
yeah.
damn. Okay.
I never attempted or anything, but it was just
no follow through.
No, I'm a quitter.
For sure. Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, I am too. I'm because now I think I'm in probably the best time of my life.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
But
and only uphill.
Yeah, it's
maybe potentially. You know what I mean?
Crossed.
Things are looking good.
Yeah. It was just I was just we didn't know how serious, we didn't know how contagious it was and shit and how it spread, and so I was just in quarantine, and all my friends were scattered all around, so I wasn't seeing anybody my age. I was just kind of in my room for fucking days on end and not talking to anybody, and the only person I was talking to was my therapist at the time, and it was just all I was thinking about, I would have my session with him, and then all I would think about all week was stuff that I was trying to process. I was just K-holing on fucking stuff that I dug up in therapy, and just
actual K-hole or no?
I don't know what K-hole means, honestly.
Oh, ketamine,
Oh no! Yeah. I kind of thought K-hole was just when you get really focused on one thing.
Oh, keyhole, is that it? I think I think it comes from the idea of when people do ketamine, it puts them in a specific place. But maybe.
Let's get hung up on that.
I don't know. So I was wondering if you were doing ketamine.
No, I wasn't doing ketamine. No, I was just I would just focus all my I would just focus on all this shitty stuff from my childhood and just fucking and then I would have my session with him and then I go back into it, and it was just it was bad, and comedy was super stabilizing, the kind of it reached its peak, and I started and had a few changes in my life, and things started kind of gradually getting better, and that sort of coincided with finding a community in stand-up, of where I really feel I hit my stride of feeling I was kind of confident on stage, and I had friends, like everything kind of came together, and it's been generally uphill ever since.
Yeah. And also, of course, it won't always be infinitely uphill forever, because that's not. But you know what I mean. But at the same time, like, that when times are tough, things could get
improve.
Things improve. Things change.
Yeah.
And you always have some friends in the community to look on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you wrong all of your friends.
Say again?
Unless you wrong all of your friends.
Yeah, that's true.
But even if you do, just move to like Denver and make some new ones. You know what I mean? You ever think about that? Like when when somebody tells me that they're suicidal, I do think and not to lives are so hard to leave. You can't just sell your house. You can't just do stuff. But it's like if the option is literally killing yourself, it's like and obviously I'm not. I'm not a therapist. I'm not licensed. I don't have
dog shit advice coming up.
Yeah, I mean, like make some really radical changes.
Yeah.
That's just the advice. Is like just like if you hate that job, quit. Just I don't know. But I guess it's tough if you have kids, etc. You know what I mean? But it's like, but then it's even harder for the kids if you kill yourself. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
there's no change more radical than slaying yourself.
Right. So do something slightly less radical.
Yeah.
But maybe that could
shake
potentially, shake things up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And obviously I am not speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from concerned friend who I've had friends be suicidal, and I'm just like, I know a lot of it is your job or where you're at, or like these people you're seeing, cut them out of your life.
Yeah.
And I know it's tough, but it's like,
it's
you're about
easier said
if
than
you're
done, but
if you're about to by killing yourself, easier said than done, but give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't mean to condescend anybody.
Now I'm conscious of the fact that this is supposed to be a riffing podcast, but we're
no, for sure. And it also feels bad where it's like, and the people who have committed suicide, it's like it feels bad where it's like, damn, you wish you could have just told said something. And so I don't know. It's a tough topic.
But what I'll say, like the big thing for me that kind of started turning things around, which I've talked about on stage, and I think I've managed to make funny, is that like it realizing that it's not a want, like people say like, oh, you want to kill yourself, but it's not a want like other wants or wants. Like I want to
ice cream.
I want ice cream. I want to fuck people. I want to go dancing. I want like I want to hang out with my friends. Those are things that I want to eat a sandwich. Those are things that you just innately like. You will put effort into doing. But for me at least, the suicidal impulses were. It wasn't a want. It was like what I really wanted was to like feel better,
right?
And for some understanding that it's not like what was scary about it for me. What gave it teeth and venom was feeling like it was an innate thing that was just part of me, and it's gonna get me one day. You know what I mean? Because every other want that you have, it sort of. It thrusts itself upon you. If you want to take a shit, eventually you're gonna take a shit. If you want to go to sleep, even if you're driving, you're gonna fall asleep. Like the things that you want sort of push themselves and impose themselves upon you until they happen. And so there was this fear that like, oh, this wanting to kill myself, it's a want that's gonna impose itself upon me, and eventually I'm just going to like not be able to resist it. And understanding that no, it's not innate. It's just a maladaptive response you're having to being lonely or angry or upset, isolated, whatever. It sort of took all the teeth out of it, because it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna like as long as I don't do it, it's not gonna happen. You
Right,
know
for sure,
what I mean?
for sure.
I'm having a hard time articulating it.
I understand.
But,
I should say, I'm not speaking from a point of experience in with suicide, but I have been suicidal in the past.
Right.
At very specific times in my life. It's been a long time. Because I think I've had a lot of these thoughts and gotten over it. Not over it as much as past the specific times. Well, my parents forced me to see a therapist.
Yeah.
Which is so weird that you can't tell them that you're suicidal because they're like you're like there because you're suicidal and they're like, and you're not suicidal, right?
Yeah.
Because like otherwise they have to send you to like a place.
Yeah.
And you're like, which maybe they should have, but I don't know. Anyway, like
Yeah.
In 11th grade, 12th grade, just it's in a rough spot. Don't want to go into too much because there's other people involved.
Yeah.
But just girl troubles essentially.
Yeah.
And that was all I could. I think the way I felt was like not the idea of it being a want as much like want proactive, but want from the angle like kind of trapped animal.
Right.
Like an animal wants to get out of a corner. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, like so that was what I at that time. Like one of the really big moments for me was I was having a really bad night, and I was at Bleecker Street in the subway. I was waiting for the 6 train, and the train was coming, and I had the thought of like, stepping in front of the train. Like I wasn't gonna do it, but I had the thought of like, I could step in front of the train, and I pictured doing it, and I realized that like when I pictured like stepping in front of a bus or whatever, however I pictured killing myself, like I imagined it, the sentence in my head was always like, oh, I'm gonna step in front of this train, and then like there was an after. Like I'm gonna, this train is gonna fucking obliterate me, and then I'm gonna like get up and dust off, and I'm gonna feel good.
Oh, I thought you meant the after in the sense of how the impact on friends and family.
No, well, and that was the thing too.
Yeah.
But more, more just focusing on how I was feeling about it. I realized that what I wanted from the train hitting me was not to die and be nothing, but was that somehow being hit by the train, annihilating myself, was gonna make me feel better, and that then I would feel good, and I would live a happy life and feel good.
I'd love to have a Groundhog's Day for a little while.
Yeah,
just like
fuck. Dude.
Also, how are you? Oh, what's your time by the way? Just
I should maybe like 10 minutes.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Groundhog's Day.
That's a great fucking movie.
It's a great movie. But I do think that like there's an element to it where it's like, being able to kill yourself and then dust off again and again. I mean, not that I there's a time in my life when I would have wanted that. I do think now I'd do it out of curiosity for that sake.
Yeah.
But like,
it always. I mean, if you, I don't know. I always, I know it's different. It's probably different for everybody, but for me and maybe for you, it was about exorcising some frustration and getting relief. Like the idea was that I would kill myself, and then I kind of thought about being dead as like falling asleep or something. That it would take some pressure off, but not that I would not exist anymore, And then
they should have an emoji for this.
They should.
That's what that dotted.
That's the fucking. This is the hero's journey. We fucking came back around, bro. Hell yeah. That's the dotted one where it's like half is like gone. Dude, wow, that was fucking so good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, what the fuck? How do I even go back to that? Yeah, the idea was just that it would be like a that it would be a release, and that then you would feel good, and then realizing that, and then thinking about what the actual consequences would be was deeply upsetting to think about friends and family being at my funeral.
That was that's what the that's what like the therapist basically is like. Think of your friends, think of your family. And now, anytime I have ever been suicidal since then, like it's always been specifically the idea of like at somebody where it's like this person's wronged me, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I gotta show
too
them.
bad I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah.
So mad, you're gonna be like, I can't believe I wronged you, and
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that. But then it's like, then I it's sort of a, I don't know if it ideation in this, but like just fantasy from that specific angle. But then I don't, because I do like, all my hopes and dreams were don't align with that. There's a lot of stuff
exactly.
That
that was like the I think for me it starts with anger, I mean, like killing yourself is a very violent thing to do, you know what I mean? But it's just violence that's directed inward. And so I think for me what was happening was I was angry at other people and circumstances and situations in my life, and instead of allowing that anger to live where it belonged, on the other people, that was for some reason unacceptable to me. I couldn't allow myself to be angry at this person, this person, and so and for some reason it was more acceptable to turn it back on myself and like be suicidal rather than homicidal, in fantasy or whatever. But
isn't that when you killed babies? Infanticidal.
Infanticidal.
Yeah, you said in fantasy.
In fantasy.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny they have a word for when you kill a king. Regicide.
Is that what it's called?
And that's what it would be if you killed yourself, by the way. Smoothest way to call someone a king.
Hell yeah, dude. That was a very smooth. Yeah. You snuck it in there.
Wait, what's the word for if you kill a queen? Go.
I don't know.
I was saying, like you go to like a girl at a bar, you're like, damn girl, if you killed yourself it'd be regicide. You're a queen.
Fuck, dude.
Or no, not if you killed yourself. If I killed you, it would be regicide because you're a queen. Yeah, quickest way to worst possible pickup line.
I don't know, dude. We work on me. It's working on me right now, Flair. Let's turn this fucking podcast off. Get into it.
I'm sorry. Let's all right. Let's wrap up this dumb bullshit.
Come on, enough. Sick of it. But yeah, so I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But the idea is just that it was like some rage that was other people, but it was I was turning it back on myself rather than feeling it toward other people, and so I think I mean what you just said about committing suicide at somebody is like, that's kind of I think a lot of the time a part of how it feels is like right. I'm gonna show them by doing this, which is just it's such an inherently flawed logic, but it feels like it makes sense when you're in that state. Which is just and I think a big part of getting out of that state is coming to the understanding that it doesn't make any fucking sense that hurting yourself is going to somehow like wrong other people. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, fucking idiot, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think something I used to think is if I'm like 85 and I have if I'm diagnosed with like a terminal illness, I'm doing something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, fucking, you know what I mean? I'm like,
that's like that the Bill Burr bit about the guy who jumps out of the helicopter.
No.
Oh, dude, it's fucking amazing. He has this whole bit about he read a story in the news about this guy who he went up on one of those like helicopter tours that they do of LA and stuff, and he like jumped out in the middle of the tour, and he does it. He tells it in great detail and stuff, and the first half of the bit is like really upsetting. He's talking about he's talking about a guy killing himself, and then he reveals that the guy had like a like he was terminally ill, and he was like every second of his life he was just in like constant fucking pain.
Oh, yeah.
And then he retells the whole story. Like he tells the story the first time from the perspective of the guy flying the helicopter and how like upsetting and violent and scary that would be. And then he tells it a second time from the perspective of the guy who's jumping out.
Oh, and it's just like a beautiful last
going up in the helicopter, like fuck, only fucking 2 more minutes of pain, baby.
Wow.
You know, just
okay.
like the
yeah,
relief
damn.
of that, you know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, 85, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not to, if you're one of those people who has one of those like chronic pain conditions, hey, fuck,
I'm tapping out.
Yeah. I mean,
you're
I'm not
alone.
like against, yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah,
tricky. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I mean,
we're gonna have to cut out so much.
Me and my dad used to
podcast.
talk shit at the back of synagogue.
Yeah, tell me about
We
that.
used to,
Tell me about that, Betty Feldman.
well, the rabbi, I was talking too much. Like we would just make fun of like everything. We'd be like, "What's that stained glass painting is stupid."
Yeah.
We'd be like, "This Torah portion makes no sense." Like we'd be making fun of everything.
Hell
And like
yeah.
the rabbi like yelled at me one time. He's like, "Benny, shut up," or like something like that. And, like I was like, "Oh, I didn't know people." I didn't realize I was young enough that I didn't realize people could hear me.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, but I was old enough to be having fun. Like, I guess my dad was quiet enough, but I was not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He was like, yeah.
Yeah. That's such a classic, like such a great demonstration of like the origin of. I mean, religion is just so fucking. It's so much about like putting the clamps on, the fucking pressure of that, and like I mean, it's so telling that like that the immediate human response to that is to
I'll
giggle and joke around. You know?
I'll say, oh, true. Yeah, that rabbi was pretty cool. I was acting up a lot.
About your rabbi.
No. I mean, I do hate it deeply. Like,
religion.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but yes, I do. And a lot of experience with it. We don't have to get into that. Fuck, we got like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guess we got to have Sasha back on at some point.
Yeah. I like that.
That's what I got. I got Satan and an angel on my shirt.
And that's a twofer.
It's drawn by
in the business we call that a double whammy.
On Twitter.
Hell yeah.
It says Unity.
Unity.
It's, angel and a demon.
Dancing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at. I've been staring at you for an hour and a half, and this is the first time I've actually taken in what that shirt is.
What you got on?
Velvet Underground, baby.
Ooh.
This is my podcast shirt. Pretty much every podcast I've been on, I'm wearing this shirt.
Huh.
It's my favorite. I love this band. I love this shirt, and I love you, Benny Feldman.
Yeah, I love you too, Sasha Von D. What is Von D short for?
Von Didkovsky.
That's what I would have guessed. Actually, maybe because I think I did see it written out somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I went with
Didkovsky.
it because the first mic I ever went to, I wrote Sasha Didkovsky on the paper, and they struggled with it. Bring me on. Next time, Sasha Dinansky. They put fucking random letters in and shit. That's my favorite. Is like I've got like Didkovitsky and shit. People are like, where are you getting these fucking letters? And I just like right away I was like, all right, I got to figure out like a way
Stage
to
name.
stage name. And it's my name. It's just shortened, you know.
Right. Von is. It's Von.
So Vaughn is Russian. Don't tell anybody. And my full name is Alexander Nikolaevich Roberts Lazarenko Shrubovich Von Didkovsky. That's my full Russian name.
What if there's a bunch of extra ones in there?
So everybody in Russia has like a super extended. So the last name Didkovsky. My ancestors came from the province of Didkovichy, which is actually in the Ukraine now.
Oh,
so
I also have ancestors from like the Lviv area.
There we go.
Yeah,
I've never been.
Jews though. Ukraine, formerly Russia. Yeah.
There we go. And so everybody in the province of Didkovichy had the last name Didkovsky, and then all the names before say which Didkovsky you are. So I'm Alexander Nikolaevich, that's son of Nicholas. Roberts, that's my mother's maiden name. Lazarenko, I don't know what that means. Sherbovich, I also don't know what that means. Then Vaughn meant that it was like feudal. My family was fucking lords. Don't hit me with that fucking peasant shit, bro.
My family, Feldman means men of the field.
Feldman means dirty fucking scum.
It was changed from Waldman, which means like forest men in like German or something, but we don't know exactly. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, no, but
we were peasants. We were for sure peasants.
Yeah, so. I was not. So don't fucking touch me. But the Vaughn is lord, and then Didkovsky for province of Didkovsky. So then Sasha comes from Alexander. That's the diminutive name for Alexander.
Right. Sure.
And so on my birth certificate I'm just Alexander Robert Didkovsky, but that's my full Russian name. And so the Von Didkovsky just sounds good. And
so you could have been your stage name could have been Alex Dudkovsky.
Alexander Dudkovsky. Yeah.
Alexander Dudkovsky.
You're not. Yeah. Swinging and a missing.
I'm missing. It's hard.
Did you cough like and ski like you're going down a mountain?
Didkovsky.
Nailed it.
Gotcha. Okay. Alexander Didkovsky. And I said it's Sasha Von D.
Yeah.
Sasha Von D is a memorable ass name.
That's what I'm hoping.
I'm going to change mine to Samuel Clemens.
There's people who've only seen my name like on Instagram and they think my name is Sasha Vond, which I like. That's really cute.
Oh wait, what's the guy's name? Not Samuel Clemens. Langstorn. They think it's Sasha Vaughn. Sasha Vaughn is cute. Yeah, Mark Twain. Mark Twain's a real name. It's like Langston Clemens with some shit like that.
Oh, Mark Twain was fake.
Yeah. Mark Twain's a fake name.
And on that note, we expose Mark Twain.
Yo. Peace out, everybody.
Come here for the facts.
That's right. Nothing but facts on this one.
Nothing but facts. Yeah, there were a lot of facts. Sorry about that.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Love you.